Me 0.
Sword 1, me -1 hand.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I feel like, and I can also imagine like you're practicing with a stick, and then you accidentally, you just like maybe it's slippery, and you're like, oh shit, oh, and then whoever's running the lightsaber course is like, yeah, if that was a real laser sword, you would chop your fucking balls off.
Yeah, be a little bit more careful next time. When does a Padawan get their first lightsaber?
They build it,
but like, when do you get to build it? Like those kids, like I'm sure those kids that Anakin like sliced up are probably like, man, I wish we would have built ours sooner. But they have like an age requirement.
I don't know. I think there's an age requirement. I just know like at some point you, I can't remember if you have to quest. I don't remember if the Jedi have to quest for a kyber crystal or if they're just, if they were gifted one by the Academy. I don't honestly remember.
That makes sense that you would quest for it.
But you would get a kyber crystal, and then you would attune. You would attune yourself to the kyber crystal, and then you would build the lightsaber from there.
And the crystal's what makes the color, or is it your tuning to it that makes the color?
The crystal's what makes the color. If you go to Galaxy's Edge, then you can build your own lightsaber.
Yeah, I want to do it. It's expensive though. It's like $300.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like 200. It's like 200 or 250 or something.
That's for that's like the one that has like the broken crystal. Like you turn it on, it doesn't go. It goes.
But like I've seen videos of like them doing it and like putting it together. Like it's not plastic. Like all that shit's like metal. Yeah, it's sturdy, and I think it's one of those where like you have the blade or whatever, but you can like detach the blade from it. So that way you can just like hang the hilt from like your belt or something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like it's a whole process too. Like it's not just like you walk in and you pick one out. Like you're building it, and it's like a whole thing.
No, yeah. They okay. Here, nerdy me. I've watched videos on YouTube of them doing it, and basically like they get a group of like, I don't know, probably like 10 or 12.
Yeah, I thought like the one I saw was like a dozen people or so.
Yeah, like a dozen people, and they bring them into this room, and then they basically like set all these parts in front of you, and then you pick the parts. Like you're like, oh, I'll do this with this and this with this, and like you pick the grip, the hilt, the pommel. Like you pick all the parts individually, and then after you pick the parts, then you pick your crystal, like your color crystal. And then they basically like put that stuff in front of you, and then you're the one that like puts it together.
Because I think they have like a little like, not, I want to say chant, but they have like something you're supposed to say as it's like powering up. It's like
something like that.
Repeat after me, Lord Disney, who art frozen underneath the park. What color crystal would you want?
Green. So your choices are green, blue, purple, red. I don't think. They might have added yellow.
I'd want black.
And apparently also, if you're ever at Galaxy's Edge and you buy the kyber crystals, there is a very small percentage chance that you can end up like you're buying a kyber crystal and it ends up being the one you get is a black one. You get a black kyber crystal.
So they got like a small number of those mixed in?
Yeah, there's a very small number of black kyber crystals mixed in with all the other ones.
Yeah, that's what I want to get. Because like I said.
But I think if you get the black one, if you put a black one inside a lightsaber, I think the hilt glows blue. Like it doesn't make the blade glow black.
So really you don't get anything like outwardly cool with it. It's just the fact that you have a black one.
But But the crystal actually does determine the color. So like if I have a lightsaber, if both of us have lightsabers and you have a blue crystal and I have a green crystal, if we swap crystals, then our lightsabers will glow that color.
Oh, that's cool. I'm just going to eBay.
But the crystals swap, like you can swap the crystals and stuff out. Basically, that encourages you to go and like fucking you spend the $250, $300 to build your lightsaber, and then they want you to spend another like $150 buying all the other fucking crystals, so that way you can have all the colors.
I see one on here. It says it's legit for like $40, a black galaxy crystal.
Yeah, I can't. Like I said, I can't remember what it does when you put it in a lightsaber.
You can get custom ones people build. You can get 5 crystals, 3 white, 1 black, 1 blue for $100. Somebody's trying to sell.
Oh, there you go.
You can get the whole set for $1,500.
Woo!
Well, Richard, you want to do a show?
Yeah.
Were you recording? I was recording. Usually we say recording at the beginning.
I'm like 7 minutes.
Okay. So they're going to miss all the stuff I was talking about before?
Oh, it makes it glow red.
Oh, it makes sense. Because that's Snoke's crystal, right? Is black. That's what I was seeing on eBay.
If eBay says so, then I'll believe eBay.
They wouldn't lie on eBay. I've got a super cheap Richard PlayStation 5 coming. Like I got it for like super. I don't know why anybody didn't bid on it. Got it for $25.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it said authentic, which I don't know why they misspelled authentic, but I'm excited.
I'll tell you what. When you get it, I'll give you $10 for it.
I need a new doorstop. Why would you use for a door? Oh, it's not a PlayStation 5.
Shawn, what are you playing? Have you been playing anything?
Been getting back into Witcher. Still playing football. And then I got golf super cheap. I've been tinkering with that.
Stay away from sports games, Shawn. They'll do nothing but hurt you.
They're fun. They're easy for me to pick up in I've got like an hour and I can do that.
Yeah, but no.
Like Witcher, I need like a good hour and a half to 2 hours to do. I did get the new cover for my PlayStation. So the PS5s came with the white covers. Speaking of black, so I got black covers for it. It looks pretty.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's nice. Is it okay? Be honest with me, because when I see a PlayStation 5 like standing up straight, like standing up vertically with the fins on it and everything, does it look like lady parts?
I mean, a little bit. With my black covers on it, if I stood it upright, it'd kind of look like Batman.
So with the transitive property, does that mean Batman's face looks like lady parts?
I think so. I think that's why we just figured out why you really like Batman. Like, no,
Nailed
his
it.
nose looks like a clitoris.
I think that's why everybody likes Batman.
Where's the clit? Is that how you do it? Well, yeah, isn't that how everybody does it? Well, not well.
Let's be honest. Nobody knows what they're doing.
It's all guesswork.
Nobody knows what they're doing down there. It's all a fucking crapshoot.
Yep. All guesswork.
Anything I do has to be I want to be directed.
Well, I just stick my tongue out and I tell Tiff, I say, hey, grab my head and move me around.
Does that work?
I mean, she's never asked me to do it again, so.
Because it was so no, I can't handle it. It's too much awesome.
I knew it. She's like, you can put your tongue away. You're done now. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Do I stop? Is this the stop part? I will take your praise now.
My turn. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, why? Because you're just too amazing. I just can't muster up the energy. Oh, okay. What if I just do it myself?
Do I grab your head now or no? No. No. You don't do that. No. I sit and I wonder, considering that I have such a low opinion of myself and my abilities as a lover, I question how did I marry so well?
I think it's kind of like
because I'm hanging on to that woman like grim death.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of like my wife. Married her young and dumb, so she's like, thinking that this was the best out there, and then by the time she's in her 30s now, She's like, well,
like watched enough television and movies to be like, wait a minute.
Yeah. At this point,
but then she's like, well, I'm in too deep now.
Yeah.
Even though he isn't.
Like, wait, what does that mean? Nothing. Here, eat this cereal.
Worry about it. Let's start a show. before I spontaneously burst into tears. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. And buddy of mine, I just wanted you to know that you are my favorite.
Oh, you're my favorite too. Like,
thanks, bud.
You know, we did a show last week after missing a week or two of like not like actual show time, like just like, you know, behind the scenes. It took a little bit longer to get our show going, and it felt good. Like I really enjoyed getting back into it.
I know. It's funny. When I will say, like, when we don't record for like a week or sometimes even 2 weeks, if we don't record and then we get down and sit together, then the chit chat that we have prior to recording a show is always longer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, like we'll be like, let's start at 9, and like 10:30, it's like, hey, do you still want to do a show?
Yeah. There's been times when we talk like, do you want to do a show now? Like, I don't know, it's kind of late now.
It's 11:30. Right. I probably need to go to bed. But usually those work out pretty well. It's like, well, are you free tomorrow? Yeah, all right, let's do it tomorrow.
That's true.
I recently saw somebody, they posted on Twitter. It's like, if money was no option, like what would what hobby would you like do? And like hands down, it'd be like podcasts. Like I would do like daily podcast kind of thing. I think we talked about this like early on. Like, you know, you do like some kind of like, you know, review podcast. You do like this. You do like audio drama. Like you could fill like 5 days pretty easy of hour-long podcasts.
I was gonna say, like, if money was no object, if money was no object and that's all you did was just record, edit, and publish podcasts, how many do you feel like you could do? How many do you feel like you could do and have at a pitch and at a quality that you would be happy with?
If you're talking like straight weekly, like this, like every single week you're coming out, probably 3. And I think I would throw in like 2 kind of like bi-weekly, you know, maybe more like season type shows. So like I definitely do this. I would jump back on like a Strange Indeed type like review show where like you're just watching some kind of like weekly streaming show and you're just reviewing it. The 2 like season ones, I'd probably do like, you know, I started up that Old Trapper podcast. So I'd do something probably like similar to that where it's more like just read stories and not like an audio drama. And then the other season thing would be like just a straight audio drama. And I would love to do like a sports podcast or a wrestling podcast. Like I think that's another one I could do more of a weekly kind of approach to pretty easily.
Okay.
Actually, now I said, because John and I did that wrestling podcast for a little bit. And the reason we stopped was just because time. Because it's like, oh shit, I got to watch this thing on Wednesday, but I'm busy Wednesday and Thursday, but we got to record on Friday. Because with that kind of stuff, like if you're not releasing it like the week of, you might as well not even do it. Because like who wants to listen about a show that happened 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
But I think wheelhouse-wise content, like 3, you could do like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday release type schedule or Sunday, Tuesday, Friday kind of thing.
See, yeah, I feel like I do. I feel like I'd be good with 3. It would be this, and like you said, like maybe like a weekly review kind of thing, either a show. But see, that's the thing is like I don't know if it'd even be like a weekly review thing. It might. I think that I would probably go with when it came to like reviewing a television show or something like that. Like you go, you know, I would just like. You could gang shoot those and release them, you know, like every couple days. Be like, hey, we're going to cover season 2 of The Witcher. And so the whole show drops obviously in one day. So you do like 2 episodes a day for 4 days and then put like 2 episodes out a week.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
3 weeks,
I've seen some shows that like the streaming ones, they do that, but I feel like those are kind of, the audience interaction isn't as good. Like with Strange Indeed, we like stuck to a weekly schedule. So even though like it was a Netflix show that released like all of episodes in one day, we only watched episode 1 and then released, then watched episode 2, then released.
Well, okay. I guess what I guess what I meant is, like I would probably maybe put out 1 to 2 episodes a week of that. However, it would not necessarily be one show back to back to back. Like let's say you watch Witcher and Cobra Kai at the same time, because they came out roughly the same. And so then they're like, oh, Tuesdays it's Witcher and Thursdays it's Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Especially like in like this like month here, or like the last like 6 months, really. Like, yeah, you had Cobra Kai, you had Witcher, you have Boba Fett. Like there's probably like 5 shows that I've like streaming service wise have just come out that you could do that with. But that would be where like you don't have as much, because the tough thing with that is like you have to watch the show and get like good opinions on it. And when you've got a normal 8 to 5 and then family, like that really, really limits the ability to like to do that and not get stressed out about it. Right.
Yeah. So this would be the fun one. And then the review one would be, I don't know if I'd call that work, but it would definitely be, it would be, have deadlines you would probably have to meet. The audio drama one, that would be something that I would probably do completely behind the scenes and then have it all but finished before I started putting those out.
If you're talking money's no option, if you could, because I'd want to edit that myself and write it, but if you could get like people to do the reads and get all that ahead of time, that would be pretty fun. Because the problem is like writing like a 12 episode season. I mean, you're talking 30, 40 hours maybe to get something pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fuck. Critical Role put out a Amazon cartoon. So
yeah, I always like, like this show and other things, like always like wonder like, would somebody pick this up? Because like you remember like back in the day of Twitter, this guy had a Twitter account of shit my dad says, and that became a TV show for like half a season. Yeah. I just don't know if there's like anything like that today. Like Critical Role kind of had a backing, I think, right? Like it wasn't just like a bunch of dudes that started it up.
Critical Role was I don't know if it still has the record, but it was like the highest kickstarted project that they've had on the site.
Yeah.
Like I think they raised like, I don't even know, like over $2 million.
Yeah,
and they weren't even asking. They were asking for like 400,000 to do like a little mini, like maybe, I don't know, like 6 episode thing.
Yeah. That's just like, I just wondered.
And so they got 2 million to do. It was stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't even know like today, like
stupid amount.
You talk about like going viral and people coming like YouTube, it seemed like you could get that. Podcasting had kind of that early on, but really that was more of like people who had like some kind of backing of like a news organization or some kind of studio.
Well, okay. I'll give you another example, and this is just really recent, and it just popped in my head. There's a new show on Netflix that we were talking about earlier, Archive 81. That's like, I think it's right now. It's like everybody's raving about it on Netflix. Like. It's I think it's like 8 or 10 episodes. Everybody's raving about the show. What most people don't know, and I knew because I used to listen to it, it was a podcast. It's been a podcast for like, I think it originally came out in like 2016.
Yeah, April of 2016.
Yeah. I didn't even know that they had 3 seasons of the podcast. I think I listened to the first one and then I just kind of fell off with it. But I really liked the podcast. And I remember, I think it was like last week or something, I was scrolling through Netflix. I was like, Archive 81. I was like, why? And I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks cool. I was like, why does this sound so fucking familiar though? And within the first like 30 seconds of the trailer, I was like, this is that fucking podcast.
Yeah. I was just kind of looking at it. It seems like it's kind of a single person reading kind of thing, which.
No, it's very like audio drama. Obviously, like, there's a difference between the Netflix show and the podcast. The podcast, since it's more audio based, the podcast is centered around the guy, the main character, restoring audio tapes for this Archive 81. In the Netflix show, it's a guy restoring videotapes, like videotapes from like the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was made in 2016. So and I kind of wonder, I need to look to see what else they've kind of done, because there was the Limewire, or not Limewire, Limetown.
Limetown, that was terrible.
The first season, well, I haven't seen the show, but the
first season of the podcast was excellent.
I listened to like 1 or 2 episodes of season 2, and it was kind of weird.
Season 2 I listened to the whole second season, and you know what? You are better off not.
Yeah, that's what you were kind of saying.
Not trying. I don't know. Like, I feel bad, like, shitting on someone's on someone's stuff, but I would argue that I personally feel like the two guys that made that podcast kind of shit on the medium of podcasting in general, because the whole premise, not the premise, but the backstory of Limetown was these guys wanted to make a TV show on this Limetown, and nobody would, like, everybody's shutting the door on them. They couldn't get, the funding to do a pilot episode. They couldn't get it together. Everybody was telling them no. Everybody was saying no. And so then they took the idea, kind of retooled it a little bit, and released it as a podcast. Cool idea. The podcast went over the moon. Okay. So that was that whole first season, really, really good. As soon as that first season was finished, you kind of got the impression that the guy's like, well, now I'm going to go make real content, because then as soon as that was over, then let's try and get a television show again. I think they put out a book.
Yeah, there was like a prequel or something.
Try and fill in some of the backstory.
But even like from season 1 to season 2, it was like 3 or 4 years, wasn't it? Because the whole TV show thing fell through.
Yeah. Because the TV show thing didn't fall through. Facebook bought it.
Well, that was after season 2, though, wasn't it? After season 2 came out?
I think it was around the same time. It might have been. It might have been around the same time. But Facebook bought it and put it out as a show, and the Facebook show was not that great.
Yeah, it had Jessica Biel in it.
It was not. Yeah. It was not good. It just wasn't good. And so the dude kind of came back around to this, finally, after, like 3 years or almost 4 years, he's like, well, I guess I'll do a season 2 now, since all of my other options dried up. And the whole arc of season 2 just felt very kind of slapdash, like put together with fucking duct tape and chicken wire.
Yeah. Which is tough for like a podcast. Like, you think like you put out a season, like when you think about going viral, like your first season, you're not going to make any money off that unless somebody buys it, because like nobody's going to put ads in it. And I guess you can do ad insertion after the fact, but yeah, I just don't know if there's really, like, this is the first time I've heard in a while where somebody's like going out and trying to find content from podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, again, because there's so many studios involved with it now, so they're creating their own content. That if they're going to use something, it's like, well, we're going to use Disney Plus podcast as our next thing.
I watched all of that Archive 81 on Netflix. It was really good.
Yeah, I want to check it out. It looks interesting. I probably,
it was really good.
I want to give the podcast a listen to, because you mentioned a couple weeks ago that you knew it as a podcast first. But even that, like in 2016, there really wasn't a ton of like audio drama podcasts. They were just kind of starting to get some traction.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I would be down for doing an audio drama. I do have there are small ideas I have for an audio drama, but I don't know. I'm weird, and I'm one of those guys that, you know, would not want to do it on fucking a wing and a prayer. It would be, you know, we gotta put in a production budget, and we're gonna, you know, like it would if I did it, it'd have to be a thing. Otherwise, I'd constantly be upset with myself about it.
Oh, Richard, you're singing my songs, man. Yeah, because I mean, if you're just trying to like piece stuff together, like if you have a budget of like, oh well, especially if you have help too, it's like, oh, we can pay to have this done, we can pay this to have this done, we can have actual actors come in, you know. Whereas if it's like, okay, I'm gonna do everything, and then it's like, all right, how long does this first episode take? 17 hours.
How much did it cost? $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, but
how many episodes did I schedule for the first season? 45.
Why do I hate myself? But I've enjoyed like the Tales of the Old Trapper thing. Just like, you know, these short stories that, you know, don't involve any like other people. It's just, you know, and I kind of want to do like a horror themed one too, where it's almost like you're telling like why am I missing it?
Like a campfire story?
Campfire story, or like there's something on the wing of the plane, Twilight Zone, or like Twilight Zone type stories. So it's just more of a narration, you know, 1,500 word type thing. But, and you know, it's always with those, like, I mean, if money's no option, you don't care how many people are listening. You just want the people that listen to it to like it. But when you're actually trying to create it for like, not really like an explosion, but for like something decent to happen to it, and when that doesn't happen right away, you just kind of like feel like, well, this seems like a waste of time.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up to, you know, want to kill yourself.
Yeah, well, it's like a lottery ticket. You go buy a lottery ticket, you're like, oh my god, what if this happens? You know, so many cool things will happen, and then like the drawing happens, and you're like, well, I got one number. What does that get me? Oh, nothing.
I got one number. Oh no, wait, never mind. It says 19. I had 91. Never mind.
Oh, well, guess I'll go to work tomorrow.
Yeah. And then that whole next day at work, you're just pissed off and no one knows why.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't win the lottery.
I'm so angry today.
It's like, nobody wins the lottery, Shawn.
Somebody does. It's just not me.
Oh, but Richard, so we're talking about like losing things. We're talking about getting robbed. You know, like we get robbed of all the praise for this podcast.
Do we?
No, but it's a segue. So, Richard, I want to tell you a story that happened in England.
Tell me a story.
So, Richard, in 18th century England, it was best to be wary of any hands that reached too close to your hair. What do you think would happen?
It was, so you didn't want anybody to touch your head?
Yeah, because what did a lot of people have back in this time frame in England on their head?
Scurvy.
No. Well, probably, because they didn't have oranges. Richard, there was an infamous wig snatcher on the loose.
Do you wonder why you don't have scurvy? When was the last time you ate an orange?
3 years.
Yeah, exactly. Are you sure you don't have scurvy, Shawn?
Well, I'm sure they probably put like vitamin C in the water. It's like fluoride.
Check your fingernails. I think that's the sign. If you
have
scurvy.
Well, I think you start talking pirate too.
Yeah. That's second stage. That's second stage scurvy.
The seventh,
because you don't call it scurvy anymore. You call it scurvy.
Scurvy. Oh, we can't go to that island. There's oranges. I feel a tingling coming. Oh, that pirate talk hurt my throat. Scurvy.
Yeah, exactly. He's sick. He's coughing. He didn't tell me what the state of his fingernails were, Shawn.
Well, I mean,
he's got scurvy.
I poked 4 of them and the nail fell off. That's okay, right? Oh God, you have leprosy.
That's worse. That's so much worse.
Oh, I'm gonna come over. Okay? No, don't come anywhere near me. I moved. This looks like a leopard colony. I'm scared of cats.
But no, you're right. They people inject vitamin C is injected into it's in other foods.
Is it?
But exactly. When was you say to somebody, when was the last time you ate an orange? Why do we not have scurvy?
It's a good point.
We should all have scurvy.
A lot of people take vitamins and stuff. Yeah, I need to look at my food and see what's just like vitamin C's in it. It's not my Mountain Dew. I'll tell you that much. Although it's got orange in it, orange concentrate. See, yeah.
I mean, does it?
It's probably some kind of orange color.
I've never seen oranges look like that, Shawn. Oranges don't glow when they're put under light.
Well, Richard,
I did learn. It's a weird segue, okay, but I did find out something today about fruit. Did you know that bananas give off antimatter? Yes, there is the type of potassium that is in bananas. It emits a very minute amount of antimatter. Because of the type of potassium.
Richard, that shit is bananas. BANANAS. Right?
Someone said that if you want to power a 20 kilowatt generator on antimatter produced by bananas, you need 200 quintillion bananas.
Oh, well, there's our renewable energy right there.
Yep. It's in bananas.
Do you think there's ever been like 200 quadrillion bananas made like in the last 10,000 years?
If you put that many bananas together in one spot, it would be visible from space.
So I'm going to go with no on that one.
I would concur.
What about little bananas? Does it have to be a full-size banana, or can we do the little bananas? Because that'd give us more space.
Well, see, think about this. Is there aren't just bananas. There's bananas. There's platanos. There's plantains.
There's clementines.
Those are oranges.
No.
But I get where you're going.
So, Richard, back to our wig snatching story.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry. My fault.
So there's a 1776 engraving that depicts one of the carefully plotted hair heists. So it's a wealthy woman, Richard, walking along a high orchard wall in the latest fashion. An enormous headdress wig trimmed with lavish lace and ribbons. Suddenly, Richard, out of nowhere, lifting it off her head, is a monkey perched on the wall, revealing her bare head.
So everybody wore wigs because everybody was bald from the scurvy?
Probably from, well, was there any diseases going around the 1776?
I don't know, man. It was 1700s. Like, everybody's fucking dirty.
Yeah.
My guess is that everybody shaved their head because
lice.
Because of lice. Yeah. And
so they put on like,
that's my guess.
It's like
that everybody had lice and they were like, this is fucking gross. And so then everybody shaved their head and put on wigs.
Yeah. And they're like, well, what are you going to use? I'm going to use this horse hair and put it on my head. This horse hair wig I got made. Whoa.
And they're like, do you want to wash the horse hair first? Be like, why?
Yeah. That's a waste of water.
I could just take it off.
Or they
idiot.
Or they go to where their water is. There's just crap floating everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we really
from the horse.
Like, we really live in about the best times.
I mean, from a sanitation perspective, yeah. I mean, I would concur with that statement.
Yeah.
Shawn, we have water that squirts up our booty holes now.
It's true. That's fresh water, too.
Yeah.
I mean, fairly fresh.
You could drink it. That's,
yeah.
It's potable.
Like back then, you would filter out the stuff to drink the water.
Yeah. Back then, when you went to the bathroom, you basically sat on the riverbank and held your nose in case an errant drop, flew around because somebody keels over, splashes in the river, and some of that gets in your mouth. Guess what, Shawn? You're dead.
Yep, Ebola.
Listeria does not play.
Well, and even
it got an F in recess.
Even then too, if they go swimming in the water, if somebody died in it, they didn't know about germs, so they weren't like, "Oh my god, germs." No. They're like, "Oh my god, Satan."
Well, what about this body? Be like, I just push it downstream and that would be somebody else's problem.
That'll go to the poor people, but we're poor. Well, they're poorer downriver.
Yeah, that's where we live. Push it upstream. No, it's gross.
It keeps coming back. Man, you guys are dumb. That's why you're downriver.
Yeah. This is how rivers work.
They keep taking the body all the way upstream. Like, haha, your problem now. Sploosh.
Wait. Oh, shit. Oh.
They get back just in time. There it is again. Damn it. Those rich people are so smart. They keep pushing it our way.
Yeah. It's a body, not a volleyball, you sick bastards.
So socialites had to be extra cautious of wig snatchers. Throughout England and Europe, finely powdered people, also called peerwigs, were in vogue among royal courts and the upper class. Man, I would not want to... Like, they show a bunch of these pictures, so they're kind of like... You got, like, the Abe Lincoln... Or the George Washington kind. You've got, like, the judge-looking kind. You got one that looks kind of like an Elvis-looking thing.
See, again, like, everybody's like, oh, fucking George Washington. Like, I guarantee you that the paintings you see of George Washington and how he probably looked IRL have to be vastly different.
Oh, yeah.
That dude had... teeth made out of wood. He had like a wig made from a horse that probably hadn't been washed.
And he probably didn't live like the most like easy life, so he probably looks super haggard. Like you think today they're like, oh my God, that picture's photoshopped. It's like, what do you think those painters were doing? They weren't going to be like, hey, like, George, you got a lazy eye. Let me put that in there.
Yeah, like go out and find like the grungiest, like, I don't know, like somebody go out and find somebody that's been like, you know, sleeping in a shopping cart for the last like 3 years of their life. And I guarantee you they would probably look better than George Washington did in real life.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like, even like the wealthiest of wealthy back then, like, you know, no AC. Like you said, sanitation was gross. Like most of them, like probably like, I mean, there's war, it seems like every other weekend. So they're probably out fighting.
Nobody's showering.
Yeah.
They all just like, you know, like dunk themselves in the river.
Yeah. And then grab the water to drink in and take inside.
And then they're like, good enough.
Yeah. I wouldn't make it.
See?
I would not make it.
You wouldn't. You shower like 3 times a day. You would not.
I do. Shower first thing in the morning. If I work out, I shower. I'd be out there. I'd be like, so where's the clean water? Like right there. Where's my drinking water? Right there. Where's my pooping water? Right there. Listen, these things don't add up. You
pointed to the same spot 3 times. I have questions.
Wait, are you pooping in my drinking water?
No, I'm drinking your pooping water.
So one of the most successful wig stealing schemes involved concealing young boys in baskets and under blankets, according to William Andrews, author of the 1904 book At the Sign of the Barber's Pole.
How to snatch wigs without even trying.
Yeah, so a boy rode in a butcher's tray carried on the shoulder of a tall man. As the pair walked past the victim, the boy twisted the wig off of the head, and the man would take off in the opposite direction, leaving the confused owner clutching at his or her own bald head.
You know, that's a good question. That's something I always wondered is how did people keep the wigs on? How do wigs, okay, this is, I feel like I'm being kind of biased here because I have, you know, a full head of hair, but how do toupee, like I understand how hair plugs work, but how do toupees actually work? Because I don't think that they just like set them on and just like rest them on there and then just hope that there isn't a strong breeze.
I think like toupees are
like, do they glue it on there? Do they have like is it Velcro? Is there Velcro? How does it work?
Yeah.
How do toupees work, Shawn?
Toupees, what they do is they'll cut like the top 4 layers of your skin off. And they put down this big Velcro piece that they use Gorilla Glue to hold down. And then they put the toupee on top of that. But it's really...
You know what? That, if I was slightly inebriated, I would listen to everything you just said and take it as truth.
Like, babe, did you know on toupees they cut your head off? Like, no, they don't.
That is absolutely something that like I would probably describe to someone else. Be like, listen, I understand that you have a toupee. So how does the head, like, can I touch the Velcro, just the Velcro part?
Yeah, I think toupees are.
And the guy be like, what do you mean the Velcro part? Be like, they cut the top 3 layers off. Who told you that?
Don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
Some asshole.
No, I think like toupees, there's probably like a light like glue kind of thing. Like not necessarily like glue, but some kind of adhesive that maybe lasts like, like a full day.
And that do they have like, oh my God, do they like put on their glue in the morning and then set the thing on?
I would think so.
Is it on like a roller? Do they have a little like roller that they like roll on their fucking bald dome?
It's like a bar of deodorant and go.
Yeah, it looks like Speed Stick, but it's glue.
You put it on like sideways, like fuck. Well, I guess this is my day. But like,
yeah, like you wake up you wake up in the morning and you're all groggy, accidentally use it as underarm deodorant, and then you can't lift your hands like above your shoulders.
You just look like you got double questions all day. Yes, great. Nothing. I forgot.
Like, why is he doing a T-Rex impression? He's been doing a T-Rex impression since 8:00 this morning.
By lunchtime, he's starting to get it down a little bit. But like wigs, I think they're more like hats. Like they just kind of sit on your head and they come down a little bit. So those aren't glued down.
Like I know that wigs are like toupees and stuff. I know that it's like they're tailor made, so they form fit. I would just think that there'd be something else that holds them on there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like wigs back in the day, there wasn't a guy that was like, okay, I'm going to conform this wig so it specifically fits your head.
Oh, yeah.
And no one else's. Like, they didn't do that. They were just like, look, I fucking chopped off the tail of a horse and dyed it gray and put a barrette in it. So here you go.
Yeah, they're like a one size fits most. Let's see. So the same tactic would be used with boys hidden in baskets held by wig stealers. So that's the other thing too. Like this says like a boy would steal the wig and then the person getting their wig stolen would be confused. Like I guarantee like if you're wearing a hat and I'm holding my son and I walk by you and he grabs your hat and we take off running, you're gonna be like, hey fuckers, give me back my hat.
Yeah, right. You would think, be like, hey, you would immediately, if somebody snatches something off the top of your head, are you immediately going to turn around and be like, hey, you person that just walked by me 2 seconds ago, give me back my fucking hair?
Do you think it's because a lot of people are doing opioids in this time frame?
Everybody's chasing the dragon.
Yeah, so like they get like a block down, like my head feels cold.
I mean, but if that's the case,
maybe somebody stole my hat. Who stole my hat? If that's
the case, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, if that's the case, do you really give a shit if that's the case, do you wear a wig in the first place? Because like, what the fuck do you care? Like you're stoned out of your gourd.
Well, you might care because that's where you keep your opioids. Your opium's in there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if I was keeping my opioids, I would not put them under my wig. They'd be in my pocket with my hand clutched tightly around them.
Richard, this is the 1776. They didn't have pockets yet. They weren't invented. That's a good point. Like,
listen,
like you look like back then, like you could buy like opium like over the counter. Like every medicine had cocaine in it.
Yeah. Why wasn't everybody just fucking baked?
I think they were.
How did they get anything done?
Oh, that's a good point.
They should all I would think they'd all just be like, you know what? Let's just fucking hang out.
Yeah. Get a little downer, get a little upper, fix my cough. Win-win.
Oh, fantastic.
So in addition to using monkeys, wig thieves also employed dogs, Richard. One boy would harness a finely dressed, bewigged gentleman as another seized the hair and tossed it to the dog. So yeah, so basically they'd, snatch it off, they'd distract the guy, toss it to the dog, they'd be like, boogie, 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 because he's all high and stuff.
Okay. I maybe you've answered this question for me, but why are we stealing the wigs? Are we selling the wigs?
It doesn't.
Are we stealing the wigs and then selling them?
Yeah, it doesn't say specifically, but I'd have to guess that it would be for like money. Because I mean, there's only so many horses.
The wigs and then they all like me up and like, look at me, I'm a cool rich guy. No.
Look at me with my horsehair. Yeah, I wonder, like, because even today, like you think, like, what would be kind of like the social status thing would be like some kind of like purse or like shoe. I guess shoes people steal a lot. Like,
that's true. So Wigs were the Air Jordans of the 1700s.
I think so. Yeah. I was listening to there's the wrestling guys do Being the Elite, which is their wrestling thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy checked some of his shoes, which he never did, but he did for some reason on this. And when he got his bag, they were gone. And then the airport themselves were like, "Oh yeah, like we don't know, like I don't think you packed them." And like I'm not a shoe guy, like I'm not a sneaker guy at all, but apparently like these shoes have like a serial number on the shoe. So if anybody ever tries to sell that shoe, like they're gonna know it's stolen. Yeah, like it's some kind of like legit like $10,000 shoe.
Wow. Yeah, I am not a shoe guy either. I have 3 pairs of shoes.
I've got
that's it.
See, I
have a pair of boots for work. I have a pair of dress shoes, and I have a pair of sneakers.
I think I got rid of. I don't think I own any dress shoes right now. I got a pair of boots for around here. I got workout shoes, like my good tennis shoes. I've got like 2 or 3 pairs of older shoes that are just kind of like around the house. I guess I got a couple pair of sandals and stuff too. So I might have like a dozen shoes total.
Oh, well, I mean, if we're counting flip-flops, then throw in an extra pair. I have 1 pair of flip-flops.
So how do you feel about like house shoes?
No, not for me. I'm fine with just putting on socks.
I'm a house shoe guy. Because they're easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, because so like if my feet get hot, if you have socks on, you got to take the sock off. And I think socks too, like sometimes I feel a little bit, because are you a shoe in the house guy or like shoes off at the door?
I'm usually shoes off at the door.
Yeah.
But that is mainly just because
the world's a gross
I get
place.
home and like I'm probably wearing my work boots or whatever. So I mean, they just come off.
Yeah, I'm kind of more of like even if I go to somebody's house, if they don't say or anything, I'll take my shoes off. Because sometimes I feel like people might be too reluctant to be like, "Oh, can you take your shoes off? We don't really like wearing shoes in the house." Because I mean,
now see, if I'm at somebody else's house, like I mean, obviously, I like if they ask, like, yeah, I'll take them off. But I don't take the I don't walk into somebody's house and assume they want me to take my shoes off.
Yeah, see, I do. I take them right off. I just feel weird about wearing my shoes on people's carpet.
Yeah, I get that. I don't know, like. It's weird. I actually haven't encountered there aren't a lot of people I know that have like wall to wall carpet in places.
Yeah. Like in our new house.
I think if they did, I probably would.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking about it, if I open the door to somebody's house and it's all like this, bright white carpet, like, yeah, I'd probably take my shoes off.
Yeah. Which then you feel bad, like if you start leaving stains with your socks, they're like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Sorry, I thought this would help." I have sweaty feet. No, but what I like about
I made it worse.
What I like about house shoes is like socks. Like sometimes I feel like I might walk outside in my socks because it doesn't feel like a house shoe thing. But like my house shoes, like I do not wear those outside. Those are strictly an indoor only shoe. You don't wear your house shoe outside.
Yeah.
And then if my feet get hot,
I rarely wear shoes in the house. I don't own house shoes. I just put on socks. And if it's the summer, no socks.
Yeah, usually I don't wear any like socks or shoes outside obviously, but in the house, yeah, I'm same boat. But yeah, long way of saying.
Now see, like when summer comes, my wife wonders why I'm not more self-conscious about like having my feet out, like in flip-flops or whatever. I don't know. I've never had a pedicure or a manicure.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a manicure and or a pedicure?
I probably wouldn't mind that. The thing with my foot, I've got a weird growth on the bottom of my feet. It's my one bad imperfection. It's like a calcium growth.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. My sister calls it my easy button. And like her son, like she'd always like
okay, wait, hang on, hold up. A, that's mean.
Yeah.
And she should be ashamed. B, why does she call it an easy button? C, if I were different, that would sound really weird.
No, so she would always just press it. Like if I'd be sitting on the couch with my feet up, she'd just like poke it because she thought it was funny because I didn't like it. And so, that was about the time Staples' easy button thing came out. So she'd be like, she'd poke it. And I'd go, ugh, stop. She's like, ha, easy button. Then go off into her room.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and so
she should be ashamed of herself.
And so, like, I don't think anything of it because I've had this thing forever, and it's kind of in a spot like you.
Nobody touches my feet. My kids are like weird about feet.
I'm not really weird about feet.
Like if I'm sitting on the couch with no shoes or obviously with no shoes, but if I'm sitting on the couch and I'm not wearing socks, like, and my feet are like near them, they get all like weirded out.
Why? Like, there's like one of Tiffany's friends is like that. Like, if you touch your foot to hers, like accidentally, like she freaks out.
Yes. All three of my kids are like that.
That's weird.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a fucking foot. Chill out.
Like when the kids come home, like your son goes on his first date to a movie and he's like crying, like, dude, bud, what happened? He's like, I was at the theater and I was wearing flip-flops and she was wearing flip-flops and she put her foot on top of mine. Like, what? She was trying to play footsie with you?
I'd be like, why are you wearing flip-flops in a theater? What if somebody spilled a soda?
Have you seen those floors?
You
That's
weirdo.
Disgusting.
Ew. You kind of brought this on yourself.
This is a life
That's
lesson,
what I would
bud.
Say. Yeah. Get your shit together.
Yeah, feet. It's always kind of interests me. Like people are like, because like, I mean, obviously, if like I'm coming in from a workout, my feet are all sweaty and gross. Like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't want to touch my foot, but like,
sure,
that's not the dirtiest part of your body.
No, in the 1700s, it was the top of their head.
Let's see. So,
because like they shaved off their head to get rid of the lice, and then they put this fucking sweaty ass dirty horsetail on it.
Yeah, so
I guarantee the top of their like all these people are gross.
Well, I think too, like you wonder why why a lot of this was happening. So I guess in England, only 4.3% of all types of theft cases were brought to the Old Bailey during the 18th century. So I'm guessing that's like a judge or some kind of like basically who you bring like issues with. And so of those, only 70% of those accused were found not guilty. So basically, like, there's only 4.3% of all thefts were, basically turned in, and 30% of those were found guilty.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of those things, like, if somebody stole your hair, like, you'd be like, well, there's not really, like, what are you going to do? And then, like, in this time...
You got no recourse.
Yeah,
like, damn it! Now I gotta go shave another horse's ass.
You know how long it takes a horse to grow its tail? Way too long.
I'll be dead by the. I'm 32. I'm already like in the twilight of my life.
Yeah, I'm 10 years past my prime. I've only had syphilis 8 times.
By the time this horse grows its tail back, I'm gonna be dead. I'll be dead.
This is probably on you, Bailey.
You know what? Honestly, the most realistic depiction of people in that era, to me, I think, like they all probably look like characters from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Like you think about like time traveling. Like, I mean, we have like pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, like it'd be interesting to go back in that time and really kind of see what it was like. Because, like, I'm sure, like, if you talk to, like, your kids...
Super gross.
Well, like, you talk to your kids, you talk about, like, the 90s. Like, they're like, oh, my God, that's, like, ancient times. Like, it's only, like, 20 years ago. They're like, Dad, it's, like, 30 years ago.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, hang on, let me Google it. And then you're like, wait a minute. When was Google around?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I was asking Jeeves.
The problem, though, is you stand up too quick to get your phone and you get lightheaded. Like, oh, God. But yeah, like when you go back there, is like, was it as bad as like what we think it was, or was it worse?
I think it most definitely, kind of like today, it most definitely depended on your level of means.
Yeah.
I feel like that's been the case since since, the Middle Ages. If you had cash, be it gold or land or whatever, if you had cash, then there was a good chance you were cleaner and therefore able to live longer.
Yeah. But I was like, if like you and I went and saw like what would be considered middle class at that time, and you go in, you're like, wow.
Whoa, yeah, you'd be like, oh.
Or even if you went and saw like the what you consider like maybe like upper, like lower rich, like not the super rich, but like the lower rich, you walked in and see what they had, you'd probably still be like, huh, I got it better than this guy.
Like, I think if you and I went to a party at Buckingham Palace in the 1700s, we'd probably be like, okay, like, this is about what I expected. But if we, left that party and then walked down the street, we'd be like, oh, God. Bleh.
Well, at Buckingham Palace, we'd probably be the cat's meow. It's like, man, you guys got all your teeth? What kind of horsehair you got going on up there?
Are those horse teeth? Did you find...
You guys must eat a lot of oranges. I don't sense any scurvy on you at all.
You have so much money to buy oranges all the time.
Like, do you guys take credit cards?
I like to sleep with people that have money to buy oranges. Careful, though. I have syphilis.
Yeah, it's like we go up, though. We're like, hey, do you guys take credit cards for this? Like, no, we only take whatever we don't have. Oh, God, Richard, we're poor. We're poor in the 1770s.
Quick, steal somebody's wig.
Well, Richard, we covered a lot this episode, I think.
Yeah, okay. If this was what do I call this? This was one of our free association episodes where we had something to talk about, but things just kind of floated around.
Yeah, this is a roller coaster episode.
There was scurvy.
What podcast we're gonna do?
Yeah, there was
audio
dramas.
Yeah, how Limetown sucked it on second season.
We kind of shit on Limetown a little bit, which I feel bad about. And I'm sure that somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, you're just jealous because they're successful and you're not." Like, I mean, while that is true,
it's like, "Hey, Mom, that's true, but you don't have to say it out loud."
You're like, "Oh, words hurt, Mom." God, I mean, it's true, but ow.
Well, I feel like them too. They're like the kind of people. It's like, well, what podcast do you listen to? Like, oh, we don't listen to podcasts.
Yes. I'm just saying that I think that if they were dedicated to the medium, that second season would have been out a little bit sooner rather than 3 or 4 years later.
You know what, Richard? If they listen to the show, we should have them on and interview them about it.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us all about it, Janet.
Yeah. Damn it. Janet,
I love you.
Oh, sorry. I just got a meatloaf Flash and got a little sad.
Yeah. Like a bat out of hell.
Yeah. So speaking of kind of, I haven't talked to you about this, but meatloaf passed.
Okay. Again, weird free association. I just ate meatloaf. I had meatloaf for dinner.
Going down another rabbit hole. I don't like meatloaf. It's a waste of good meat. Ugh.
Nah. You haven't had it done right.
Do you want a cube of meat? No, I don't want a cube of meat.
You haven't had it done. No, you haven't had it done right, son.
I put cornflakes and ketchup on it. What?
No, fucking. You can throw some saltines in there as a binder, but fucking wrap it in bacon.
Woo. But so Meatloaf passed away a month or so at this point when this comes out. But I've never been a huge Meatloaf fan. And when he passed away, one of the guys at work was talking. He's like, "Oh my God, I've been listening to him all day." I was like, let me go back and listen. And I listened to Bat Out of Hell 2, which is an album my mom had. And
yes, Bat Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell.
Instantly after the first song, I realized why I didn't like Meatloaf, because I had visions of my mom dancing around in the kitchen, a lonely, middle-aged kind of woman type thing. And so instantly that's what I got. I was like, that's why I'm not a fan. I just associate it with that.
My mom actually did the same thing to exactly what you were talking about. We had my mom had it on cassette. Bat Out of Hell 2.
That was the album. If your dad,
Paradise by the Dashboard Light is a pretty Dope song though. Not gonna lie.
I feel like that's the album.
Pretty
If
good.
like your dad and mom got in a fight as he was leaving for work, she's like, I'm putting on the meatloaf. But well, Richard, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts as we kind of tidy up this hodgepodge episode?
Yeah, what am I gonna do to tie all this together? You know what's a good binder for all this for this whole episode, something to bring it all together? Meatloaf.
Yeah. It's the hodgepodge of dinners.
I like meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
You come over, I'll make you a meatloaf. I'll tell you what though, when you walk in the door, you take off your fucking shoes.
All right, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. And we always like to thank our 2 patrons who we got them in the mail. You guys are getting some wigs. We're sending them your way. Wendy and Aaron.
And nobody will steal them.
Well,
and we know that you guys don't have scurvy.
They're like, these wigs look used. It's like, yeah. Didn't you listen to the episode? How do you think we got them?
Is there lice in here? Did you wash this horse?
All right. Well, is there anything else before I close her out?
No, I'm good, son.
All right. Well, that's all the bromance have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
Remember, don't B-O-Y. B-O-Y.
B-O-Y not. I would do anything for love,
but I won't do that. No, I won't do anything for love. Anything you've been dreaming of. Why won't you wash the dishes?
But I just won't wear a wig.